Hello everyone, it's me Varus, and in this video I'll be giving you an update on the cold blast in the United States, a longer range look, and an update on the tropics as the Atlantic is expected to wake up after a short period of being pretty quiet. If you do enjoy, please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing with your friends, and let's get right into it. So right now I have pulled up the National Weather Service alerts and indices, and relatively quiet in the lower 48. We can work ourselves west to east, starting in the Pacific Northwest, some dense fog advisories. In the desert Southwest as well, some dense fog advisories. More notable areas are kind of like the deep south, mid to deep south, southwest basically. In the northern panhandle of Texas, portions of Kansas, Colorado, and New Mexico. And you can see severe thunderstorm watches and warnings in place. So there's a bit of a severe threat going on right now in those regions. Move further north and west, we got some special weather north and east. We got some special weather statements over here for Iowa. Could be cold related, as if you had just a little more north and west. You see frost advisories in the northern portions of Michigan and northern portions of Pennsylvania. And I mean, that should represent how we are really, winter's coming, so quite a bit out. But this cold blast that's upcoming is going to be really potent, is what I'm trying to say. And so we're going to get a good deep dive look at all of that stuff in the coming minutes. So what does the Climate Prediction Center say for now? So let's just see the 6 to 10 day outlook. Right now, pretty classic positive PNA, negative EPO pattern, where we have a pretty big, tall ridge of high pressure in the west, and then a nice deep trough of low pressure in the east. So that is very, very high confidence as of right now, as you can see highlighted by this really dark blue. That's a 80 to 90% chance that will be below average all the way through the first week of September at least, and getting into the second week. Now, precipitation-wise, a little bit mixed here and there. In the Pacific Northwest, below average. Desert Southwest, actually above average, which is kind of needed. North Central U.S., below average. Areas of the Deep South, below average, except Florida, above average. Due to some like tropical activity and convection, tropical thunderstorms is what I'm trying to say. Nothing tropical related quite yet, like tropical storms or hurricanes. But the Northeast, precipitation is also above average, as since we are entering a troughing pattern, could get some unsettled weather over here in the coming days. So gotta watch out for that. So let's get to the temperatures. So we're starting out with the Euro, and there has been a small little trend to extend this cold blast and colder air longevity for a few more days since the previous video I recorded. So let's see that on the Euro. So this is the current cool blast, still bringing cooler temperatures. Nothing pretty impressive quite yet. This eventually starts to kind of fade a little bit when we're getting into the middle of next week. But then you see that reinforcing cold shot from the northern Arctic, really from the Arctic. And what's really kind of getting overlooked, with this technically record-breaking cold air, you also have record-breaking heat in the west, in the Pacific Northwest, specifically in the state of Washington, okay? And so it's like a tale of two extremes over here. So we could see lots of records being broken, both in the high temperature and low temperature department. So as you can see, look at those deep shades. That is representative of almost 15, 16, almost in isolated spots, 20 degrees below average, which is very, very, very significant for this time of year especially. And then even the Pacific Northwest, temperatures even more extreme, 20 to 25 degrees above average. So high 90s, even hundreds are possible. So it's a very, very extreme, as you can see. But let's focus on this cold blast for now. You can see it recycles through. Now this one, compared to this one, it kind of blows through the central U.S. kind of quick, and kind of through the east as well. Okay, this is September 8th, but it's more of a potent, like sharp cold air blast that will have a couple really cold and crisp mornings. So this is September 8th, so this is not next week, the week after, so kind of getting long range. But you can see some moderation in the east, and eventually you see some sort of moderation period as heat over here starts to kind of move east as the Pacific Northwest and West Coast starts to get a little cooler, central U.S. cooler, and east just a bit warmer, not anything extreme. But you gotta think, by this time of year, by this this time frame, come next week, or the following weeks, this slightly above average temperature in the east will really just be around 70s, maybe low 80s. So that's going to be very pleasant. And then, who knows, maybe even more recycling cold blasts. This is pretty far out, but we're seeing signals for a further, longer shot of cold air. Let's get to the tropics. And so let's start with the Atlantic. Okay, well, let's start with the Eastern Pacific, because I haven't really talked much on that. You can see pretty active, 2 disturbances, both watching these. This one's going to be more of a western rider, this one further north. And then in the Atlantic, we have this one, 0 in the next 48, 30 in the next 7 days. We'll have to watch this, but signs are already showing a recurve. Still pretty far out, so definitely could be completely wrong. And there's this one tool, kind of doing this on the fly here. Tropical analysis tools. I might not be able to find it right now. Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to find it as of right now. Let's see. Yeah, can't find it right now. But with the National Hurricane Center right now, just expecting this little disturbance. We'll see if anything pops up in the future. Let's talk about model guidance with it. What I was trying to look for was a tropical weather outlook, where it shows where when development is supposed to become more likely. And I did look at it earlier. In this area, basically that main development region, let me draw that a little better. In this area, we're expecting more development, and I think I saw a little blob in the Gulf as well, come to the second to third week of September. So we're watching that. Some signal for sure with this first system. I'm not going to go fully far out, or we can, just for the fun of it. Some homegrown activity, still trying to look possible. Like, this isn't a lot of members, but it's a fair amount. So we're going to have to watch that, where some cold front, maybe the cold blast next week drops through and spins the low pressure off the coast. We'll have to watch for that. And especially this storm right here, we can go fully out 240 hours. And yeah, maybe I was wrong about the recurve. Lots of these members still heading west. But I mean, some of them are, this is pretty north, I would say. Okay, mean track would probably be around here. So we'll have to watch. If there's a ridge of high pressure, bad news. If not, if there's some weakness, which could be that cold front moving on, that cold blast moving on its way out. Could see some type of recurve, but still gotta sort that out. So that's about it for now. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day.